Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I was just watching a video by Jesse Rebirth on YouTube. He was comparing this HotToys quarter scale Joker to the Entebbe version. I have to say the Entebbe version all around did look like the better piece. So there's one thing that sort of struck me as I was watching Jesse's video. I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm gonna see if I can just use some super sculpty clay and just sculpt a strand of hair to kind of dangle by his face on his left hand side. It's a damn shame that the hair comes up as high as it does here. That's very odd. It should be at least half that height. There's nothing I'm going to do about that, to be honest. That's a little bit too risky. But I am going to do a couple of strands of hair here and there. I'm not going to press it up against his skin because I want it to be kind of, you know, just naturally kind of hanging by his face. And that'll make it easier to paint without getting any paint on the actual face as well, since it's also something that I can easily undo. I can easily just break away the strands that I put there if I don't like them, and I hope it will just give them a little bit more something, a little bit more oomph, a little bit more life. It's a weird sculpt as far as the hair is concerned. I love the face, and the expression is quite plain. I mean, he's looking upwards, so he's kind of meant to tilt the head down, but his head doesn't tilt down that far. And like Jesse said in his video, the HotToys one just doesn't really have that hunch that the Entebbe one does, and certainly he, you know, that's how he kind of put it across in the movie. So anyway, I'm going to try and do a little strand or two coming down here. Maybe something happening here. I mean, there's not much I can do there really because of the way the hair's kind of sweeping over to this side and pushed back here. So it doesn't really make any sense for any strands to be falling there, so I'll probably leave that alone. But certainly on this side, you know, I can maybe connect something here and have a strand falling down here, and then maybe a slightly shorter one there. So maybe just 2 strands maximum. But I think, you know, in theory it should improve the look a little bit. So let me get started on that, and I'll show you the process. Show you the process as I'm doing it, and I hope you find it entertaining and maybe inspiring. And some of you might try the same thing. I'm still intending to get my exclusive head, the other one, totally reworked, and I'll let you know more about that once that time comes. But let's see how I get on with adding these strands of hair to the Joker here. Alright, so this is what I'll be using. It's called Super Sculpty Clay, and there are different kinds of clay you can get like this, epoxy and all that. I don't even know what that is really. I think that's the one that you don't have to heat it to get it to dry. It just dries naturally. Whereas this, you'd have to get a hairdryer. I think it said on the box you're supposed to, once you make something with this, you put it in the oven. I can't do that to the Heath Ledger head sculpt, so hairdryer is what it has to be. So really thin strands is what I need to do. You don't want it to be too clumpy. I'll try and match the kind of thickness of these strands here, so we'll see how I get on. You know, it's a nice sculpt for the hair. It's really nicely done. The detail, the layering is very cool, but there's a lot of it. Again, like Jesse said in his video, some really good points in that video. Just check out his channel. It's called Jesse Rebirth, or just type into YouTube HotToys quarter scale Joker comparison, and it'll be right there. The thumbnail is him surrounded by Jokers, and Michael lurking in the background there as usual, looking creepy as fuck. So obviously this is how you'd, you know, do your strands. Don't worry, this sort of smudgy effect comes away really easily on the desk. That's not a permanent thing. But yeah, just gonna go for really thin. And it's an experiment really, guys. It's just a little experiment that I'm doing. Hopefully it solves one of the issues that kind of bugs me with this piece. The other issue would be how bright his coat is, the bright purple. There is a custom one that you can get. I didn't decide to get that yet. I'm going to wait and see Even Seb's video on it. He got the coat. He's just busy with his jobs and stuff, so he hasn't had a chance to do that video yet. Seb, if you're watching, come on, man. I need those videos. There's another video he's done that I really can't wait to see, but he just won't upload it because he's busy. Anyway, I think that's long enough. So there we go. We'll just pop that there, and that's kind of the gist. Obviously, it won't be this long. That would be weird. But yeah, I'm going to just blend it in somewhere up on his head there. And blend it in.
and we'll just, you know, see what I can do. See what I can do. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, once it's you know, once I've put, you know, get a really fine kind of needle or a blade and kind of put a little bit of like the way these strands of hair have lines within the hair, like a bit of texture. I'll try and do that. That's going to be really tricky. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I don't know. Maybe once I've painted this, I'll try, man. I'll see what I can do. This is an experiment. It's an experiment, folks. But yeah, I mean, already you kind of get the idea. It'd just be nice if you had at least just one strand of hair. See, I can blend that in there. That's no problem. I can easily blend that seamlessly, and I can get that to look very natural. Do you know what? I think this is going to be all right. All right. Let me get down to the fine detail here. It is worth mentioning, I'm not going to be taking the head off to do this, because with something this fragile, once it's done, trying to put the head back in, you know, to the joint and applying pressure, there's too much of a risk of all the hard work being undone trying to put the head back on the body. So I'm just going to be careful and not remove the head while I'm doing this, because that makes more sense to me. So as I'm doing this, I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to get the hair to kind of have a bit of a kink to it, like that? And I'm going to be super cheeky. I'm going to put a tiny bit of blue tack here, and I'm going to use that blue tack to keep the shape of the hair to have a bit of a curl to it, like that. A bit more in keeping with the rest of the hair on the head. And then once this is dried, I'm just going to take away the blue tack, and then hopefully we'll be left with a nice sort of curly kind of bit coming down here. Still need to try to create the lines within this chunk of hair, rather than it just being like a big piece of sausage just hanging off his face.
Alright, now I have heated up the super sculpted clay, so that is solid now, although that would be very, very easy to break, so very fragile. Alright, so I'm finished. It is just a test run, guys. It's not the final. If I do decide to stick with this idea, I will do this again. This is the very first attempt, and it's very fragile, very fine, kind of, you know, it's just a thin strand of super sculpty. And but I think it looks good, man. I mean, look, the hair's hanging now. 3 strands of hair coming down by his face. Managed to get the paint to blend really well. Tried to get more of a curly look, but that's something I can work on for next time. But from certain angles, like there, here, like there, looks cool. I mean, there's definitely some curl action going on. You can see it. But those 3 extra strands that I've added now just make a hell of a difference, don't they, to the whole thing? You can just see the whole figure. Just is it just me, or has 3 tiny little strands of hair kind of made this look a lot better? I don't know. You let me know in the comments. Hit that like button and let me know your thoughts. Get involved. Not too bad, man, for a first attempt. I'll do better next time. I'll think of some cool ways to curl it and get it to look more, you know, you don't want it to be too curly, but it's like I said, you can see there that there is some curl to it, but from this angle here it doesn't really look like there is. But from here it doesn't look like there is so much. Let's just see, how does it look when I turn it this way? See, I haven't actually painted. You can see at the back I forgot to paint that bit. But you're never going to see it from this angle. I think it's fine for now. It's very nerve-wracking painting it, because, you know, you don't want to get any of that paint onto his face, which I managed to do without, you know, getting any on there. So it's cool. Tilt the head down. Oh, I'm just taking the head off. Oops. Oh well. So there we go. So yeah, first attempt, a bit ropey, but it's definitely cool to have some hanging strands. Yeah, definitely try it again later. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Luckily with this figure, the head sculpt clicks into the joint really easily, so it's not too bad. In fact, I might go ahead and just take the head off next time I do the hair. So that would be cool. I'll keep you updated on how that goes. But I'm really, really happy with that. And I definitely wouldn't have done this tonight if it wasn't for watching that Jesse video. So that was what put the idea in my head. So I'm glad I watched that video. Nice bit of inspiration to try this. I'm very happy with the results. I mean, I could leave it like that and I'd be happy enough. He looks good from all the angles that you'd actually be looking at him from. You know? But I'll do it again. I'll do it better. I'll figure out a way to get the coat a more accurate tone of purple eventually. But, you know, the camera does change the way it looks quite drastically. I don't know how you guys have seen it, but looking through the camera right now, it's like this bit here looks quite accurate, like color-wise, the sleeve. And then as you get lower down, it gets really bright for some reason. That's probably just the light here, to be honest. That's kind of beaming up into his eyes. Wanted to make him look really alive, and the light hitting the eyeballs really does help do that. So let me know your thoughts. I'm really happy with how the hair's turned out. Like I said, I will do it again one more time now that I've had a bit of practice with it. But I think for this head sculpt at least, this will be the way to go. And the spare one from the exclusive version that this is, I will probably be sending that spare head off to a certain someone to work some magic with it. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get notifications every time I upload some juicy goodness. And check me out on Instagram and Facebook at DNightFree. And click the link underneath the video, become a channel patron for $1 a month, help the channel survive. Appreciate all you guys out there trying to bring you that awesome content on a daily basis. Alright, really happy with that. Let me just back up off it a little bit. Get the whole thing in the frame. That looks cool, man. Those 3 strands of hair have really taken this figure up a couple of notches for me. It's really cool. See you later.